Chad, one would think, what could you possibly do to this absolutely beautiful 1968 Dodge Charger? Because man, from 10, 15, 20 foot, this thing is beautiful. The ability to take the best of the old and bring it current, right? So the best of the old and the new, but not killing what this car is. It needs to stay a 68 Charger.
Yeah.
OMG. Yes. Look at the size of those valve covers.
This is a full-blown race engine.
It's a race engine.
Yeah.
And that's part of the complaint is it's so hard to have something so beautiful and so out of control. It's a beast, but it's not a civilized beast. It's not like me. It's not civilized at all. It's just wide open. Yes. But man, as you walk around, it's got it all. I love the color. I love the stripes. I love the interior. To me, I look in this cockpit and man, it just says, this is the baddest hot rod 1968 had to offer.
Yeah.
And I want to try to keep as much of that intact as we can. You know, I love these old fatties back here, got the big 15-inch drag radials. We'll be doing something quite a bit different as far as that goes. This is just iconic, this awesome. I mean, bro, does it get any better?
No, dude, that is so sick. This is what we call
in the 68 with the 4 tail lights back here.
How did you open this thing?
It's magic.
Oh, it's got a button.
It's all right, Chad. I was, you know.
I wasn't born in the 60s.
Practice makes perfect.
That's right.
Hey, I wasn't born in the 60s either. Okay? Don't get me started. We're going to make sure this thing is set up to do a couple of things that it's not set up to do now. It's set up to go fast in a straight line. We're going to set it up to go fast anywhere he wants to go fast.
Excellent.
We're going to set it up to stop really fast. It needs to stop faster than it goes.
I like that.
So what we want is an ultimate driving machine. Like this thing needs to be raw, but civilized, right? It's just that fine line that we stay on constantly. It's like this, right? You got big lines, but you got this little fine line right here. I like to live in the fine line. So are you ready? Are we ready to get this thing broke down?
I was born ready, man.
Go team.
Let's get it.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, that
see
was
crispy. Crispy. See you when I see you.
Like bacon.
So when I'm working on a car like this that is it's a high dollar build. It can get nerve-wracking if you look at it as a big, like a single big picture. It's like, oh gosh, there's this huge car and it's super expensive. I'm really afraid of it. So what I do is I just go down and put on my blinders and ignore all my problems, like I do with most of my life. And I just focus on the frame rail. And then it turns into big, scary, high dollar build. No, this is just a chunk of metal that I just have to cut into. And then once everything that is irreversible is done, then I step back and let the fear set in. That's personally how I approach this sort of project. This guy will essentially go up in here. Obviously shifted in the width of the frame rail, but that's the area it's going to be in. These holes, we're going to bolt to these holes once this is all chopped out, and this will just sit right in its place. So it's going to come out past this frame rail towards the back. This is kind of the way I tend to approach most projects here just at the shop, because we try to deliver quality work. Is just, you know, measure, remeasure, double check the other angle, check the backside, make sure that there's no possible mistake that I'm not avoiding. And then when I do make cuts, give myself room to work, you know, cut big and shave it down to the correct size, just to ensure that in the end I have the best fit and finish possible. This is a very expensive piece of metal. It's made of Mopar. So now I'll take my plate, put it in there, find out it doesn't fit because obviously I cut it with way too much. As you can see here, it's not right. That's on purpose. I'm gonna have to take up some off the top so I can get further up along the holes, and then some of this backside. And that's where I'm gonna start, is I'm just gonna flatten this little section out, and then that way I can get this closer to sitting in here flush, and then start whittling away at the little bits over here on the edges until it fits all perfectly. we are back to where it seems like nothing at all happened, but it did. We used to have these track bars mounted in this position to a spring perch on this portion. We are now about 4 inches further inboard, which means that we can fit much more tire on the backside, a much wider tire, because these track bars will no longer be impeding on that. In order to move these inboard, I chopped out a piece of the frame, welded in this new mounting position, made sure the weld's really, really hot, really strong, burned in super well into both the frame and into the mount. Same situation on the axle. I cut off these spring perches, put in the new ones and welded those in super hot, super tight. And throughout this entire process, I have been measuring everything to make sure it is all completely square, right where it needs to be, everything's moved equal lengths, so that the suspension geometry acts as if nothing ever happened. It's all going to still function to the specifications that were originally engineered for this system. Because we are going to put mini tubs, we're going to cut out this section of the wheel well and move it inboard as well. That way we can utilize the maximum amount of room that we created by moving these track bars inboard. So a few bolts tightened and I can put wheels on and back on the ground it goes.
5-10 feet away, this thing looks unbelievably mint. But you know, you get a little closer and this is the difference. The way we view and the way we can dial in on a car. It's little things like this. I don't even know if you can see it, but the dash's got a couple little scrapes and stuff. I mean, it's well loved. I'm sure you can't even get this piece. And if you can, it's probably a cheap reproduction. But a lot of this looks really, really, really nice. It can all be restored pretty well, but like the dash is missing a couple screws, the paint's coming off. You know, then you have wonderful things like the steering wheel, and you know, all of this is great. Look at that shifter with the line lock. I mean, this thing's, that's bad to the bone. It's very pretty in here. The headliner's gorgeous. Come look at this headliner, y'all. Stick your head up in here. It's like perforated a little bit. You can see it right here. It's got this beautiful sheen. Not Charlie Sheen, but sheen. I think even the seatbelts look decently nice. I like projects like these because there was already a lot of work put into it, and we get the fun part of making it absolutely perfect.
What we are going to start working on today is a paired modification with the leaf spring relocation. We are going to put mini tubs in it, and the purpose of this is that we just moved our leaf spring perches inboard so that we could fit a wider tire, but the next restricting factor was actually the inner fender liner, or the inner wheel tub is just too narrow. There's a little bit of a space before the inner frame support, and so what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the old inner fenders. We have some remanufactured tubs that are 2 or 3 inches wider. So we're going to cut out the old ones and just stitch in these new ones in a very similar spot. There's going to be some trimming of this trunk pan because we are going wider.
All right, so new face on this Charger project. Lobo has done a lot of groundwork and got the hole cut out and the old stuff. So now it's been up to me at this point to do all of like the spot weld drilling and etch priming and flange cleanup and making sure all the seam sealer and stuff like that's out of my way before I get my new panel in. So now we're gonna run some bolts and self-tappers in to get the panel in place, and then I'll start doing some welding.
Here in Upper Bay 1 of Tommy Pike Customs, we are not, in fact, frying chicken. This is PT welding in these wheel tubs, which are finally in after a lot of fighting. We found that we had to cut our holes significantly larger than they would fit snugly.
Like, why would that not just slide? Ah, dude, it's like on the edge.
What that means is that now we have these big holes on each side of the wheel tub that I'm going to build new patches for that are fitting super tight up against the wheel tub, up against the floor, and we'll weld them in and grind them in place, and it'll look like it never even happened. So I'm gonna take some cardstock, make myself a good little template out of this stuff, just so that I'm not working with harder used metal. and then I'll trace it onto a piece of metal, and then work that metal piece into there until it's a flawless fit. That PT works magic on it. No more holes. We'll be good to go.
So on the weld, when you're laying on your arm, and you put the helmet, it's literally wet, literally.
He said my helmet and literally.
And my helmet is literally getting stuck. I literally can't even move my head. And the freaking cable is never freaking long enough. It's freaking pissing me off. I feel like I'm always yanking this machine over. That's it. I feel like I'm about to knock it all over.
PT's literally about to go off right now.
I'm literally about to go off.
Friggin' live.
I'm about to go off.
PT's literally losing his freaking mind.
You have to weld cross-eyed. The freaking helmet's like turning
It
sideways.
sucks. You have to look like sideways through the visor.
No, it's so annoying.
We in the hood now.
So tell us what's next, guys.
He's gonna like stand on the fenders, grab the valve covers, pick it up, hand it to me.
Oh man.
I'll carry it out back
Just gonna
and just set
shoulder
it
it.
down outside, probably.
No,
Something
we've
like
got
that.
pretty much everything else that's on the motor. Accessory drive's got to come off. The rest of the wiring, like engine harness and stuff, needs to just get flipped out of the way.
Yeah.
Fuel system needs to be disconnected.
Heater hoses, power steering.
Yeah.
But,
Figure out how to brace it from the top so that way we don't drop this motor in the ground whenever we take the transmission out. And then we'll go up, take the transmission out, go down, then pull the motor out. Because it's going to be too big to do in one go. Oh wow, that was very loose.
I've noticed a lot of stuff on here was just like,
Watch. Oh, that was tighter. This other one I took loose was like, boing, it just barely moved.
a lot of stuff on this was like very
Barely tweaked.
gently tightened.
We got all this crap out of here.
All the attachment has.
It's like breaking.
That's just how it was.
Yeah.
Like, touch it. They put that whole 3/8 inch plate on there. They didn't attach the freaking coil.
They just, look at it, they just like threw that over the top of the motor. Like
Yeah,
that's-
there's a few wires like that that are just draped across. It wasn't. I didn't like. I don't think I cut a single zip tie or clamp for the whole harness. It was just all set.
Oh, it was bolted in 3 spots, but the bottom one tore off. You guys always talking about your bench press PR and your squat PR. I want to see. Oh, we still got freaking wide bands unplugged, or a wideband. What you doing, dude?
It's unplugged. It
Got
just
it.
needs zip ties
A
snipped.
zip tie cut. Anyway, I was gonna say I want to see somebody's max freaking farmer carry and how long you can hold a freaking 4x4 above your head. Where am I going with this? The bazookas. We got a ladder.
Bro, what is that?
It's like a steering, like a shifter, not a steering, a shifter like stabilizer. Oh no, it's the shifter, because it's not a column shift. So how do you, so you pull it back and it turns this rod? Like look, it's back here. It's like a rod going up, but but the shifter does this. So like, how does it go? Deep doo to wee woo wee woo.
Well, obviously it is a deep boop to wee woo converter.
All right. So what are we doing? Just prying or hammering or yanking?
I would say just give it a
That is
solid yank.
insane.
Big old pipe.
Man, those fit great.
I cannot believe those just come out the bottom like that. That is insane. Both got some sloppy joints. Is this like a modified stock fan or something? Like, look at the weird shape of
It probably is, yeah.
All right,
You'll probably
go
take
ahead.
a stock one and then the slant 6 ones are like mid some. Have you seen a slant 6 pan before? They're weird.
I haven't.
God dang, dude, those rings are grabby. Do you see them?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're jumping.
Made a lot of good progress on this Charger here. We got all the rear suspension out, we got the wheel tubs in, the new rear suspension in, and we've stripped down the engine. After that, we just have to drop the cradle down, modify it to accept our new engine, mock that in, and send the thing off to paint.